It's not that big a deal.
Get the f out, is not.
What's up, everybody? My name's Big Cam, and welcome back to another trailer reaction. And today we are reacting and breaking down all the little details in James Gunn's Season 2 of Peacemaker, coming August 21st to HBO Max, starring the wonderful John Cena, back as Chris Smith, the Peacemaker. And within the next couple weeks, I'm going to be doing a re-breakdown or an initial breakdown of Season 1 heading into Season 2, so people that haven't seen it can have some fresh legs, or maybe anybody that needs a little bit of a refresher can get it through that way. And then we'll be doing episode by episode breakdowns for Season 2. But this trailer is the first released, and it just got released from San Diego Comic-Con, and confirming the title card, intro song, like the first season, is going to be Oh Lord by Foxy Shazam, I believe. And there's quite a few little shots in this that look really interesting. So let's just jump right on into this trailer and see what we notice.
We doing it up in style.
Hey guys, I got beer. On.
Duh.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Just hand it to him.
I'll just hand it to him.
So we are back, the 11th Street Kids. You got Danielle Brooks there, who is Adebayo, I believe is her name. And then you got Chris Smith, John Cena. You got Jennifer Holland, James Gunn's wife, playing Amelia Harcourt. And then you got Vigilante, played by Freddie STROMA, and John ECONOMOS, played by Steve AGEE. Wow, I think I nailed that. But he's like, yeah, you guys want a drink? And he's like throwing him a beer, and he misses the first one, he drops the second one, and then he's about to throw it again. And he just keeps throwing them, and they honestly would have probably gone through the entire 30-pack and broken every bottle if Hardcore did step in like, hey, just hand him the fucking bottle. And then it looks like Chris Smith and Hardcore at the end there have a little chuckle and a smirk together. And then it cuts to the DC Studios symbol. So this season, coming off of last season, it might look like Chris Smith and Hardcore might be trying to see if they have some feelings for each other. I know maybe Chris Smith has feelings for her, but maybe Hardcore has feelings back for him. Like, she is kind of smirking at him like, you are big, jacked, and handsome, but I'm in love with the creator of this show. But on to the next portion of this trailer.
I've changed a lot since I last saw you. I don't want to be a joke anymore. I want to be a real hero.
You wear a clown costume and go out and beat up people. Chris, take something bad and make something good out of it.
Alright, from the director of Superman and Guardians of the Galaxy, Adebayo says, take something bad, make something good out of it. And he's tired of being a bad guy. He wants to be a hero. And she's like, you run around in a clown costume and beat up bad guys. Like, we all see a brief shot of Eagly there, and Eagly's returning, Chris Smith's best friend, and John Cena, of course, returning. But in this season, it seems like he's got a new helmet, a peace cycle, a big old cumbersome bike that he's got in his garage. And it looks like he's got this like mansion he's pulled up to, and he's taken the peace cycle out of the garage. So whose house is this? Is this Augie's house? No, I don't think Augie had a mansion, did he? Maybe. I don't know, but something's happened because he's pulling up out of a mansion, or maybe he's stealing this peace cycle back. But the Peacemaker suit is so hilarious, just bright red and colorful and popping, and then this like toilet seat helmet. You know, like, it's so funny. But apparently we're gonna have some multiple different maybe Peacemakers this season, and multiple different helmets for sure. I think the first season we only went through 2 helmets, the regular one and then a sonic boom one. I don't think he ever got any other ones besides that. But this season, you know, maybe it's just design change, or maybe they do different things. But we're gonna see some different beacons of peace, I think is what he calls them. We introduce Frank Grillo as Rick Flag in live-action TV show DC Universe, because he was in Creature Commandos as Rick Flag Sr., and he had white hair and white beard in that. And then he was in Superman, and he did not have white hair, white beard, because he had a show that he needed to have his hair be black for, you know, so he couldn't dye it, and then now he's in this, and, you know, maybe creeping towards gray, but not quite, you know, still kind of Frank Grillo's natural look. But on to the next portion of this trailer.
Need to find the Peacemaker. He killed my son.
You're being monitored right now.
By who?
Rick Flag, Sr.
Whoa.
What is it?
They have a dimensional portal. And it leads to a parallel world.
What?
It's not that big a deal.
Get the out, is not.
I love it in the trailer, even though this season's probably going to be full of F-bombs and friggin' all types of crazy language and crazy shit going on and blood and gore and violence. In the trailer, she's like, the fuck it's not, but the fuck is bleeped out by a Eagly squawk.
What?
It's not that big a deal.
Get the out, is not.
But she's like, what is that? He's like, I have a portal in my closet. It opens up to different dimensions. It's not a big deal. She goes, the fuck it's not. You know, like, so I think that's what this season's mostly going to be about, is the pocket dimension thing portal in his closet that will lead him to another universe, you know, and bump him into another Peacemaker that's living a much better life than him, you know, because he's a nobody D-list villain that nobody even likes, and, you know, maybe he finds a universe where he's the hero, you know, like he always wants. And Rick Flag is tracking him down for killing his son, Colonel Flag, in the Suicide Squad, James Gunn's Suicide Squad movie. And, you know, I think Chris Smith may feel bad about this, you know, because he technically was just following orders, right? Like, he didn't just kill Flag on his own. I think Waller was hiring him to do that. No? Either way, he might have just killed him because he's a piece of shit, but he's got Rick Flag Sr. on his ass, and Rick Flag Sr. seems to be so pissed that he killed his son, and he wants him to torture him, kill him himself, I don't know. But he seems to be surveilling Peacemaker, and Adebayo is telling Peacemaker that he's being surveilled while looking at a thing that is surveilling them. You know, so it's like, as they're being told this, they're also having surveillance cameras of them sitting on the front porch. It's kind of like trippy. So Argus, and I think John ECONOMOS is working with Flag and Argus now, and they're surveilling Peacemaker. They're like, what is that in his closet? What is that heat, or, you know, energy signature, whatever? And then we see a quick shot of Eagly flying through the interdimensional closet thing, like a folding storage room. And then we maybe see a shot right after that that is like from Eagly's vision, maybe, or maybe that's like Michael Rooker's character, who has been rumored to be like an eagle hunter type of thing. So ooh, maybe Eagly's in trouble. But on to the next portion of this trailer.
My son's a better man you could ever dream of being. I've tried to make up for my mistakes, but I'm not sure redemption is possible.
He's in love with you. Me and Chris, it's never gonna be a thing.
I'm going to make a life in the other world.
On August 21st, Peacemaker is going to make a life in the other world. And this comes after Adebayo is like, he's in love with you. And she's like, me and Chris are never happening. So maybe, you know, Hardcore doesn't let him down so easy. And Chris just decides, fuck it, this universe is not for me anyways, I'm out of here. And he takes off. And you see at the beginning of that clip that Argus is, you know, breaking into his house or something like that. And, you know, he gets in a hold of the Peacemaker, and he's like, my son was a way better man than you'll ever be. And he seems to start beating the crap out of him. And then we cut to a shot of John in the shower, showering off blood, you know, like that's all over his arms and his back. And I can only imagine. And then there's a shot of Adebayo driving him in the same outfit he was just in when he was getting punched by Flag, and he's all covered in blood. So maybe Peacemaker kills Flag in this series? I don't know. I don't think James Gunn's going to kill both Flags and then be done with them this early into his DC universe. I think Frank Grillo's Colonel Flag is going to be around for a while. I was genuinely surprised he killed the Flag in the first movie, you know? Maybe he just didn't like Joel Kinnaman. But on to the next portion of this trailer.
There's another dimension. It's exactly the same as ours.
But better. Best dimension ever.
Dude, that's sick.
We need to close that dimensional rift.
ECONOMOS, I'm partnering you up with our new agent, Rip Jagger.
Who's Rip Jagger?
Hey, fatty.
I love how I don't even remember his name, but like the green guy from the season 1, he's like, "Hey, fatty," and he's eating like flaming hot Cheetos, and John ECONOMOS is just like, "Ah, no," you know, like, how is my life happening like this, you know, like all over again. And so Argus is bringing in the green, what was his name? I don't even remember, but I'm gonna have to really rewatch season 1 and remember all these characters. For the most part, I remember it, but like that green guy, I don't remember his name, but I remember him. He was hilarious in the first season. I don't think we ever see him out of that costume, but also walking with that group before they open up the back of the van, we see Michael Rooker's character, and he's got like 2 blonde braided pigtails. He's got like a bowler hat. He's standing there next to Steve Agee's John ECONOMOS, and it also seems Freddie Strom is behind him, so maybe Vigilante is also on board with Argus and whatever they're doing. And then Tim Meadows, you can see also there for a second. He's a part of Argus. And Flag says we have to close that dimensional rift. So that's kind of what happened when the portal in Superman, right? Like the portal broke down and then started opening a dimensional rift, and then it started splitting apart, you know? And it like was opening up a black hole in the middle of like Metropolis before they like closed it, and like it was splitting the buildings apart. So maybe that's what's going to kind of be happening here, is from Peacemaker's closet there's going to be a rift opening up, and when he says that, we see like into one of the portals, and it has like a skull on top of this like machine spider as it's like walking through this lava field, and like just death everywhere, just burning everything. You don't see anything else besides these little spider machines with skulls on top of them, and they look so creepy. But fucking what is going on in that dimension? And James Gunn has confirmed that there's going to be at least 100 different dimensions and 100 different, like, you know, universes or whatever in the DCU at the current moment, and it's all going to be explained really in this Peacemaker season 2. And, you know, so John's whole plan here is like, there's a whole nother universe where, you know, everything is better and great, and he's a hero, and hardcore, you know, falls for him, and they're together, and, you know, he's a hero, he's not a bad guy, you know, and like best universe ever. He's got like fancy clothes and a big chain and the peace cycle, you know. So maybe that whole peace cycle scene that we saw earlier in this trailer was actually from this other universe, and that mansion that we saw was his, you know, and like it's the good Peacemaker's universe, and he's a hero, so he's got tons of money. Like, I don't know, but I'm so excited to see most of the cast from season 1 returning, although Chukwudi Iwuji I don't think will be returning as Myrn. He was kind of a big character in the first season, and I think they wrapped up his story in that first season. I don't think he'll be returning, but he was the High Evolutionary in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, so who knows, maybe he'll return in the MCU at some point. But a lot of these actors, I couldn't see them being like, yeah, sure, I'll come back, unless James Gunn said it was fine, you know, like if Marvel asks them, their first call will be to James Gunn, like, yo, they're asking me to do this shit, like, I want to do it with you, but if you say okay, maybe I'll do it. Or maybe some of them, like Dave Bautista, I guarantee is like, nah, I won't come back as Drax unless James Gunn's coming back, you know, so I would almost guarantee he's done with the MCU, you know, unless they have him do a quick cameo and it's like, you know, footage from a previous movie. I don't know. But on to the next portion of this trailer.
No matter how green the grass is over there, you belong here with us. We're gonna get Chris back.
That ending, they like launch, they have like jetpacks at the beginning of that clip, and they're like flying through the sky with the Eagly, and then he's like sharing a drink with his dad, Robert Patrick, so, you know, he's returning for the second season, so this has to be in the other good universe. And Adebayo saying to him, you know, however much brighter the grass is on the other side, you belong back here with us, you know, so like don't get lost in that good universe. And, you know, Hardcourt's on the back of the peace cycle riding the bike with Chris Smith, and yeah, pretty wild shit. You know, he's jumping rooftop to rooftop. We see that Mighty Crabjoy's little cameo, little poster there, a little tie to Superman. and a big explosion going off, maybe sonic boom going off in like his cabin in the woods type of thing. When he put a bag over his head is capturing him. Maybe that's Argus, maybe that's something else. And Harcourt's like, we gotta get Chris back. So maybe Chris gets, you know, goes to that other universe, comes back, then gets taken, and then they have to go back and get him. Maybe he gets taken by Argus and by Rick Flag Sr., and she's like, we gotta bust him out, you know, like the 11th Street kids reunite together, you know, and that green guy seems to be fighting John in the woods, and at the very end of that clip, they like take that jetpack out through a window of glass and then slam into a car, and then they both kind of stand up like, oh fuck. But then on to the final and last portion of this trailer.
You met your own self from a parallel dimension? You're wearing his clothes?
You think I bought this? That's painful.
Hi, Mom. We're going to my secret room. You're not allowed to follow.
You must be John.
Jesus.
You're not that dorky.
Shut up, Mom.
So we meet Vigilante's mom at the end of that clip, which is freaking hilarious. And she's like, John ECONOMOS, this must be John. He doesn't look that dorky. You know, so maybe we're going to see a little Vigilante friggin' layer in the bottom, in the basement of his house. And his mom seems very funny, but that's coming August 21st. I originally thought it was August like 8th or 9th, so maybe they pushed it back, or maybe that I was just had that date in my head for me. But you know, she's like, you went to another universe and you fought yourself, and you know, are wearing his clothes, you know. So then we see Peacemaker v Peacemaker, and you know, maybe the good Peacemaker had the jetpack, and the bad Peacemaker, you know, is fighting him, and maybe he kills the good Peacemaker and then takes over his life and his, you know, peace cycle and his mansion and his fancy clothes, and she's like, you're wearing his clothes, and he's like, you thought I bought this? And she's like, maybe, you know, and he's like, I resent that, you know. Like, it's funny. But I mean, didn't he wear some stuff like that in season 1, or did he really only wear the Peacemaker costume or his tighty whities? Like, I don't know, but seeing this trailer really makes me want to go back and watch Peacemaker season 1, and I'm very excited for Peacemaker season 2, and I can't wait to break this down. I hope it comes out one at a time, week by week, and he doesn't drop it binge. I don't picture James doing that. I picture it probably week by week. Maybe the first 2 or 3 episodes drop at once and then they go week by week, but it's HBO, so you know, traditionally HBO goes the old-fashioned TV way, 1 episode at a time, week per week. When we take our time, we talk about it each week, and then it grows word of mouth, and by the season finale the show's huge, you know what I mean? Like, if it's good, you know, and then it keeps growing. I think this is going to be great, and it will tie to Superman in the new James Gunn DCU and explain why the old DCU is not a thing anymore, and why Zack Snyder's DCEU is dead, and the DCU that James Gunn is creating is very vibrant and full of life at the current moment, and I can't wait to see more. And anything that comes after this I will also be seeing, but a nice rated R follow-up to Superman with this Peacemaker HBO Max TV show, I am totally here for. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Peacemaker. John Cena, you know, if you're a WWE fan, what do you think about his heel turn recently? What did you think about Superman? I'd love to hear your thoughts about the DCU with Peacemaker Season 1, Peacemaker Season 2, Superman, Creature Commandos, and are you excited to see where this goes in the future? If you want to chat more about this on my other social medias, links for those down in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel, the best way to do that is liking this video, commenting down in the comment section below, subscribing if you haven't already, and hitting that bell so you don't miss future trailer reactions and you get the notifications when those come out. Once again, my name's Big Cam. Thank you guys so much for coming on by, and I will see you beautiful people in the next one. Peace!